Howdy, it's March, and that means St. Patrick's Day. Now, for the past 28 years, I've played Irish drinking tunes every St. Patrick's Day at dozens of different bars and breweries in several different states. And those gigs tend to be the most fun, featuring beer, whiskey, bagpipes, music, and of course, kilts. And you may think, wait a minute, kilts are Scottish. And they are, but my kilt is an Irish tartan, County Antrim, where several branches of my family are from. So anyway, St. Patrick's Day is a lot of fun, and I get to make a lot of money just because I know a lot of Irish tunes. Now, there are several categories of Irish tunes, including drinking songs, fiddle tunes, and ballads. And for this episode, I'd like to concentrate on the drinking tunes. So, what qualifies a song as a drinking tune? Well, the simple answer is alcohol, whiskey, beer, rum, grog, getting drunk, being drunk, and the consequences of getting drunk. Now, there may be lots of songs which get sung while drinking that are not about drinking or alcohol. And I'd like to focus on the drinking songs. So anyway, here are my 9 favorites.
Bold deceiver, mushering, rubba-dee-rubba-da. Whack for the daddy-o, whack for the daddy-o, there's whiskey in the jar.
Number 9, Whiskey in the Jar. This is one of the first, if not the first, Irish tune I ever learned. Now, being a hard rock and metal fan, I had, of course, heard Thin Lizzy's rendition. But once I heard the traditional lyrics and melody, accompanied by acoustic guitar, mandolin, penny whistle, and the bodhrán, I was hooked. And I'm sure most of you have heard either Thin Lizzy or Metallica's version, so you already know the story of the song. However, if you listen to a more traditional version, you'll notice that the chords in the melody are slightly different, and the lyrics can be noticeably different. For example, names have changed, and there are even some completely different verses. Now, I'm sure if you enjoy the rock versions, you'll enjoy the more traditional versions also. And my favorite version is probably by Waxies' Dargle.
Wrap me up in the oilskin and blankets, no more at the docks I'll be seen. Just tell me, oh shipmates, I'm taking a trip, mates. I'll see you someday in Fiddler's Green.
Number 8, Fiddler's Green. Now, Fiddler's Green is not your typical drinking tune. It's not a song about drinking, fighting, and the associated consequences of those actions. This is a song about dying. Well, more accurately, what happens afterwards. The song states that Fiddler's Green is a place I've heard tell where old fishermen go when they don't go to hell. In other words, it's heaven, the fisherman's ultimate reward after long, hard years working aboard a ship. So it should come as no surprise that Fiddler's Green is a sea shanty featuring an expansive, tuneful, lilting air of a melody framed by rolling wave-like rhythms. And those rhythms tell us that Fiddler's Green is also a slip jig, which means it alternates between 9/8 and 6/8 time. So how is this a drinking song? Well, again, the lyrics tell us the beer's always free and there's bottles of rums growing off every tree. Again, a most pleasant expectation of the great beyond.
It's all for me grog, me jolly, jolly grog. All for me beer and tobacco. For I spent on me tin on the lassies drinking gin. Far across the western ocean I must wander.
Number 7, All for Me Grog. We've all heard the phrase, spend like a drunken sailor, right? Well, here's the song about it. And this one's definitely a tankard-clinking group sing-along which celebrates the good times and the not-so-pleasant consequences to be had on shore leave. So a sailor on shore leave has sold his shoes, shirt, and other possessions for beer and tobacco, and has in turn spent all me tin on the lassies drinking gin. Well, at least it sounds like he's had a good time, right? Well, in the last verse, he laments, I'm sick in the head and I haven't been to bed since before I came to shore for me slumber. In other words, he's wrung out and hung over from his carousing, in addition to being shoeless, shirtless, and penniless. And my favorite version of this tune is by the Dubliners. Also, this is the title of the Irish album that my group, the Crumbs, did several years ago.
And the song he sang was the jug of punch. Tooraloo-raloo, tooraloo-rally, tooraloo-raloo, tooraloo-rally. A small bird sat on an ivy bunch, and the song he sang was the jug of punch.
Number 6, The Jug of Punch. This song is kind of the opposite of All for Me Grog. Jug of Punch is about whiskey as an enhancement to life. So you may be asking, what is punch? Now, I know there are variations, but my understanding is that this is the basic recipe. Fill a pitcher with ice, then add equal parts Irish whiskey and lemon juice. Stir and enjoy. And believe me, it is really refreshing on a warm day. And a jug of punch is all about the simple things in life which make it all worthwhile. Companionship, music, pleasant weather, and of course, punch. The chords are simple and the melody is quite singable with some fun tu-ra-lu-ra lilting. And like Fiddler's Green, Jug of Punch is a kindler, gentler type of drinking tune.
We're no more, and it's no, nay, never. No, nay, never, no more. Will I play the wild rover? No, never, no more.
Number 5, The Wild Rover. This is a story of debauchery and redemption. So here's the first verse. I've been the wild rover for many's a year, and I've spent all my money on whiskey and beer. And now I'm returning with gold and great store, and I never will play the wild rover no more. Sounds like a hell of a gap year to me, right? Anyway, the narrator has returned home all grown up and flushed with cash, presumably to take his place in the community as the responsible and productive prodigal son. Literally, he has even asked his parents for forgiveness for his past transgressions. Now, while this description may sound like a thoughtful discourse on forgiveness and redemption, The Wild Rover is actually a boisterous sing-along, clap-along, drink-along audience participation tune. And when you can get an audience, even a modest audience, to sing and clap along, the performance turns into something people will talk about for a long time. Now, we recently played this at the wake for our city's fire chief, and hearing our entire fire department singing along with us is the closest I've ever gotten to leading an arena-type sing-along. And it's those experiences that keep me going as a performer.
Whack full of down out and see a partner around the floor, you trotters shake. Wasn't it the truth? I told you lots of fun at Finnegan's Wake.
Number 4, Finnegan's Wake. This is the Irish drinking tune I get the most requests for, and I 100% understand why. It has a great melody, a rousing sing-along chorus, and it's all about whiskey. Finnegan's Wake is about Tim Finnegan, a bricklayer's assistant or apprentice, who has a weakness for the whiskey. And one morning he goes to work drunk, falls from a ladder, and dies. His friends and family carry his body back to the house and prepare for his wake. Of course, there's food, tobacco, and alcohol. In fact, there's a barrel of porter at his feet and a gallon of whiskey at his head. A drunken brawl ensues, and eventually some whiskey spills on Tim, and glory be to Patty, he arises from the bed, which prompts even more drinking and dancing from the wake attendees. There are so many good recordings of this song, but my favorite is probably by Waxies' Dargle. Check it out.
In New York, she was a very fine crab. She's rigged for a nap, and oh how the wild wind drove her. She had 27 masts, she withstood several blasts. We called her the Irish Rover.
Number 3, the Irish Rover. This one is a prime example of the Irish gift of Blarney. The first verse starts out believable enough, describing the appearance and the mission of the ship, the Irish Rover. But each of the remaining 3 verses stretches the credibility of the narrative to the breaking point. Actually, that's not quite true. By the middle of the 3rd verse, the narrative has already been stretched far beyond the breaking point, with a cargo of 5 million hogs and 6 million dogs and 7 million barrels of porter. So obviously this song is a tall tale. No one would ever believe a word. However, everyone in the song, except the narrator, that is, dies. There's no one left, not even the captain's old dog, who can refute the teller's tale. Now, the chord progression is simple, the melody is a blast to sing, and the story is fun to tell. This is a great song to learn and have in your back pocket if you want to get an audience on your side at an acoustic gig. So definitely learn this one.
Gather up the pots and the oats and can, the mash and the corn, the barley and the bran. Hung like a devil from the excise man, keep the smoke from rising barley. A gallon for the butcher and a quart for Tom, a bottle for poor old Father John.
Number 2, the Hills of Connemara. Also known as Mountain Tay, the Hills of Connemara is about bootlegging, making whiskey in home stills and hiding those stills from the tall men, or the approaching British tax collectors, who are at the gates. The melody is spry and playful, both rhythmically and melodically. And as expected, the lyrics are poetic and full of witty wordplay, even though this is essentially a protest song. Actually, I'm not sure protest is the right term. Maybe grievance is more appropriate. Now, by the end of the song, the excise men have seized the bootlegger's whiskey and are in fact drinking it neat and will dance all night. Now, this is of course a humorous twist, but it's also a commentary on the institutional corruption practiced by the same crown which denied the Irish the right to self-determination for so long.
He looked in the basket, the child he did spy. I'll be damn it, says Jack, this is Quare, Bungle, righty, right. Boundy diddle, righty, right.
Number 1, Quare, Bungle, Rye. I'll be damned. This is my favorite Irish drinking song ever. It's also the most recent addition to my repertoire. In fact, I think I only first heard this one 2 years ago and only first performed it on St. Patrick's Day last year, 2022. So why is this one my favorite? Well, some of it may be novelty, just the fact that it is a new song to me. But I believe it's the melody that really grabbed my attention at first. It's purely diatonic, but its melodic activity and contour provide tons of color and singable fun. Now, the thing that kept my attention was the lyrics. It's a humorous tale of a sailor who gets swindled, believing he's purchased a bottle of rare whiskey from Germany, the Quare Bungle Rye of the title, only to find that he's actually purchased custody of a baby boy, whom he names at his christening Quare Bungle Rye. Anyway, it's a fun song full of clever wordplay, a great melody, and a chorus which is topped off with some fun to sing lilting. And my favorite recording of this song is by the Blarney lads. Please like, share, and subscribe if you're enjoying the channel's content. Hit the notification bell so you'll always know when a new episode drops, and feel free to leave comments or any suggestions for any topics you might like to see in some future videos. And right now, I'm trying to hit 400 subscribers, so please subscribe. Every little bit helps the channel out. Also, check out my other channel, Live from the Stairwell, and check out some 100% live unplugged performances from, you guessed it, my back stairwell. And through St. Patrick's Day, I will be featuring daily a video of an Irish tune that I recorded out in the stairwell. So definitely check that out. Also, keep your eyes open for String 'em Up Shorts, where I address various good guitaring ideas in under a minute. My name's Dave Holland, and thanks for watching String 'em Up. Have fun, stay safe, and if you do go out on the pub crawl, be safe and have a lot of fun. Make it home safely, okay? Anyway, see you next time.